like to first off thank Lorna Johnson for giving us this space and this opportunity to be here. And also for the folks that came in late, I'd like to introduce Councilman Ed Reyes of Los Angeles also. We have Labor Leader, AFL-CIO Executive Secretary Treasurer Maria Elena Durazo. We also have Mayor of Monte, Quintero. And of course the former Miss Valerie Jarrett.
All of us have had an opportunity to meet the DREAM Act students, and they're just what America's all about. They work hard, they want to serve our country. Many of them want to join the military and defend our country, put their lives in harm's way. They want to teach in our schools, they want to start businesses, they want to be wonderful citizens and give back to the country that they love. And so for so many of them, they've known no other country. And oftentimes they didn't even know they were citizens until they tried to go to school or get a job or get a Social Security number. And so the President embraced them fully. He stands firmly with them. But as we all know, what he was able to do with by an executive order is a stopgap measure. It gives them 2 years. It can be renewed after 2 years. But he wants to provide a permanent path to citizenship for them and for their parents. And so, you know, it's very frustrating because in the prior administration, I think people forget that President Bush actually supported immigration reform. There were 11 Republican senators, all who co-sponsored a bill for immigration reform, including Senator McCain, the president's opponent in the last election. And so what's frustrating is to see the basically the unwillingness of the Republicans to engage on this very important issue. And we're hopeful that after this election, when the American people send a very strong signal for the direction they want the country to go, that we will be able to get the kind of support that we need. But we can't do it without everybody getting involved. And as the President has been saying, as he's been traveling around the country, he can't do this alone. He needs everybody to work with him and to help tell the story about we are a nation of immigrants, we are a nation of laws, and we can do both.
So my question is there a thought as to what we can do to expedite and move these things?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you raised it. You know, I started my, well, we obviously want to work very closely with you on this. I started my career in the public sector working for local government in Chicago. And my biggest frustration was trying to get the federal government to be our partner and to break down those silos, because people in the community, you can't ask them to tailor their needs to all these different programs. The program should be tailored to meet their needs. That's what I always thought. And so that certainly was the President's philosophy as well. And what he has done is to ask all of his cabinet to come together and to figure out how they can work collaboratively and to fast-track many of these large projects that traditionally would go from one agency to another agency to another agency for review. And he has said, have all of you sit down together and do the review together and see if you can streamline the process so that the permits are issued faster, because it will create jobs. And it's exactly as you described, Councilman. If we can figure out ways of breaking down those silos, having agencies talk to one another as opposed to just talking to themselves, and to understand that they have a role in economic development. And so at the same time as we are preserving our environment, we should be figuring out how to get people to work right away. And we have made so much progress over the last 4 years in terms of our economy. People sometimes forget that in the last 6 months of the Bush administration, we lost 4 million jobs, 750,000 a month when the President took office. We've now had, as you all know, 30 consecutive months of private sector job growth. We are certainly on the right track. Our automobile industry, GM, #1 in the world, we should be so proud of that. So we cannot rest. As long as people are sitting around their kitchen table trying to figure out how to make ends meet, trying to figure out how to afford to send their children to college, we have a responsibility to be diligent. And so the President is very interested in doing what he can in the executive branch that doesn't require legislation to streamline the process. And so if you have specific obstacles and hurdles that you've encountered in the bureaucracy, you should certainly let the administration know, because he wants to expedite all of those.
I have an LA River pin.
Oh.
With a flash drive, very specific.
Oh my goodness. You are very concrete. I like that.
And I'll leave this
that.
with you as well.
Well, I will make sure
Thank you
that
so
we
much.
pass this on to the administration and that expediting and cleaning our environment, creating jobs, putting people to work in communities that so desperately need those jobs is front and center for the president's agenda.
We're ready for it. We're ready. Thank you so much.
There are 400 cities in California that we're studying. We're number 9 for child obesity. And I appreciated so much the work of the First Lady on nutrition standards and helping families to understand better how to live a healthier lifestyle. What can we do as a nation working together in our communities? It's part and parcel with healthcare reform and investing more in prevention. Can you share with us a little bit more about that and how we at the local level can do our best to help our community be healthy?
Well, as you know, the First Lady has reached out across the country to mayors and local elected officials because so much of what happens needs to begin at the local level. This is nothing that the federal government can mandate from on high. This is something where we have to get everybody involved and aware. And this began really from the First Lady's personal experience as a mom. And when her children were young, her pediatrician said to her, "Are you being careful about the nutritional value of what you're giving them?" And she didn't know. And so her physician educated her and said, look, make sure that they're eating healthy food. It doesn't mean that they can't have fast food from time to time, but be aware of their calorie intake. Make sure that they are exercising. And make exercise fun, so it's a family activity. So both the President and the First Lady work out nearly every single day, and so they set a model from the top. And so the whole point of Let's Move is let's educate people about nutrition, let's encourage them to make exercise a daily part of their life. Let's make sure that we look at neighborhoods that, for example, don't have grocery stores with affordable produce and eggs and milk. And let's encourage grocery stores to go into those neighborhoods. And the First Lady has been very successful working with local elected officials to encourage grocery stores to locate so that it makes it easy. If a mom has to drive or take a bus for 10 miles to get food, well then it's no wonder if the nutritional value isn't there. So we need to make sure that it's available. We need to make sure that the information is available. We need to educate people about what they're eating. And she has been able to get an enormous amount of cooperation from the private sector, and there are many leaders. Darden Foods, for example, has changed their menus completely to be very transparent. Many companies are reducing the salt and sugar in the recipes that they offer. And again, it's just a matter of awareness. And she's the perfect person to do this because she does it with grace and fun and style. And yet, she can be very clear about what happens if we don't take care of our children. But her goal is to get rid of childhood obesity in one generation. And you know what? Working together, we can actually get that done. And I think when I say we, it's everybody. And for the next generation, as you're thinking about your children, just make sure that you, as parents, you educate yourself. And we're going to do our part, everybody. And if we do, when we come back in 10 years, just imagine you can get rid of the obesity level in your community. And it will be healthier, and that will save everybody on healthcare costs, because preventive care is so important. And so many people, they wait until they have an acute symptom. When I was back in Chicago, I chaired a hospital board, and our emergency room was full of people who came in with symptoms that were acute, many of which could have been treated if they just had preventive care. And obesity, as we all know, leads to all kinds of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, all that can be avoided with proper food intake. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll make sure I tell the First Lady that you were putting the spotlight on a very important initiative.
Please do. We're very proud of everything that she's been doing.
She rocks, doesn't she?
She's America's mom.
She's America's mom. She would be so pleased to hear you say that. That's the best, not just for Sasha Malia, but for all of our children.